the 27th of January 2025. It's a Sunday evening, about 10:50 p.m. The storm struck on Friday morning at 3 o'clock and it raged for about 7 hours. And definitely it was the highest winds I ever witnessed. No doubt about it. It was punching when it hit something. You could hear it punching. So we can buy it all right, except that there are slates missing on the old house where I stay when I'm on the farm, and that'll be work to be done, more work. One of the things that happened for those that don't live in Ireland, the electricity was off everywhere except Dublin City. It managed to stay on in Dublin City, as far as I know. Now, in my own neck of the woods, the power was out in Kingscourt and County Cavan all. And then on the day after the storm, on Saturday the 26th, it came on in the area around Kilnalun Power Station. There's a Kilnalun a substation, not a power station, in Kingscourt, out the Carrickleck Road. And that's where the wind farm in Rara feeds into. And the red lights were on the wind farm at all times. So they kept the power coming in there to supply the wind farm. And then when there come wind, the wind farm was supplying some power back in, but only to that small area. And funny enough, it included the Church of Ireland and the Catholic Church, which are on that line up at the back of the Block Malones. And the Block Malones had power, and he was able to open his pub. And up at the top of the town, where it used to be KC's, the filling station opposite Mount St. Joseph, it had power. So they were the first up and running. The storm eased off big time, and it's now replaced by some other old thing from the east, a wet storm. And so there were trees down. I had no phone, and that was the biggest problem I found. That from 4 a.m. on Friday morning until I left the town and came back, left it for where I live, I had no phone at all. The phone service went down. That was a shock. I did not know that if you had a collapse of the electricity system, the phone service went down. Well, it definitely did go down. I never got to making a phone call. It came in when you'd go into the town of Kingscourt, you'd get a signal sometimes. In any event, the first thing was I had to get in my return for the elections on Friday the 25th, have it in by then, and it meant I didn't have time to attend to other matters. But anyway, I got up after the storm and I made a video, and I might put out that video in which I said a prayer that no one would be killed. And I think in fairness, nobody was killed, and that's great news. We'll always fix other things, and I might play that video just for you now. Now, there's two houses I know of personally, and I hear them all. They had heat pumps, wouldn't work, no heat at all. I know one which has dummy chimneys. The chimneys are only dummy. They can't light a fire in them at all. Now, I don't believe it's the law, because I asked a very well-known architect, and he told me you can put a fireplace in. So anyway, a lot of them are putting them in afterwards anyway, and stoves and all of that. But this is what we voted for when we elected the Greens, to leave us with no fire. Now, I uploaded a video there of my own fire in the Rayburn Range. I had coal, I had sticks, wood, everything going. My chainsaw was out, and I was grand, good seasoned timber. And I was able to help other people with a little as well. So that's the thing. But then the card machines wouldn't work. The credit card machines, when you were tapping, it wouldn't work. And I asked the staff in one pub that was open with a generator on Saturday evening, how are you managing with the cash? Cash is cash preferred. Now, up at the top of the town in Kingscourt, there's a note on every pump, cash only. And I was lucky enough, I took out 300 before the storm. I just took it out and had it because there were no fallen goods. And I think this crisis proves that cash is king yet and all. Now, so the heat pumps in two houses were useless. There were no fireplace to light. One of them has no gas cooker, it's electric heating. So this idea that we go to full electric, in my notion, is baloney. And I think maybe one of the good things that'll come out of the storm, it'll teach people that. Imagine having a house that if the electricity is cut off, you have nothing. You have no source of energy at all. Isn't that something? Whereas up in my old house, I had the Rayburn on, and then I had my wee generator, my little 2.2 kilowatt petrol generator. and I had her running. And one of the problems happened because I wasn't too well prepared. My extension leads, and I have a few good ones, all failed to function. I don't know what was wrong with them. Of course, the first thing is to check the fuse. They had strong fuses in them. It wasn't that. For some reason, on the night after the storm, I couldn't get them to work. And that seems to have been a feature with generators all over. The systems aren't tested. You see, you install the leads. Anyway, I needed a lead to drive the pump for the water up to the cattle, and it wouldn't work. And I had another lead, and it wouldn't work. And I had to go overnight then and wait. And the next morning, I got the screwdriver out and the phase tester. And you see, with a generator, you can't use a phase tester the same. There's no earth as such. They should be earthed by right. Anyway, I got it going. I got it going anyway, and got me water up to the cattle, and that was a great thing. You see, I had no water without the pump, and so that was it. And then that little generator would use the one. It was able to drive the 1 kilowatt Draper pump, the submersible pump, and it was able to drive my Hyundai space heater. Oh, they were a great job. They might be a little hard on diesel, but I had the water pump and the space heater running, and 2 lights and 2 phones charging, all of the one generator. Not a bother. It was well able to do it. And when you'd plug in the pump, you'd find the generator giving a chuck where the pull came on it, and there's a little governor, and it just opens like that. And then before I tried to start it, I had to clean the plug. It wasn't starting too easily. And one of the things to check with those is there's a fuzzy stuff in the intake, the air intake, and if it gets wet, they will not run. It stops the air getting in. So you need to dry it out. But anyway, I checked the plug. I put the wire of the plug the wrong side of the little governor. There's a little spring, and it fouled it, and it would not work right. Lucky enough, I remembered. What did I do last? I took out the plug. And when I checked, all I had to do was take the cover off the plug and put it the other side, and she ran perfectly. They're governed by a little centrifugal governor, inside. So that was good. So we got all that going, and but the Blocks was open on Saturday night, Murtagh's is open, and Garton's is open. You see, one of the things then is Centra had 2 generators running, and there was awful smoke out of them. Fierce smoke, and Air had a generator running down at the place, the hub where they have the mast in Kingsford, and there was white smoke out of it. And these generators all seem to be bellowing out smoke. And I think it's X6 oil. I think what happens is somebody fills too much oil into them. The Honda generator, type 4-stroke generator, the 2.2 kilowatt, they will not run if there's too much oil in the sump. You have to have just the right amount of oil. You need to get it level, put a little bit too much oil in with it up on the stove, and then you take it down, the oil goes to run down. So have it unlevel, put in your oil, and then to change the oil, and then get it that the oil is just coming out. And that's correct. And then check that now and again. You don't want too much oil. If there's too much oil, however they know it, they won't run right. I don't know why. Now, so that's the story. So, yes, the tap cards. So anyway, go back on that. The heat pumps were useless. And I claim they're just the same as an electric convection heater. They're no different to a radiator or run by electric. They're just electric heating. And when there was no electricity, they didn't work. The houses then, a lot of them have dummy fireplaces and have no fireplaces. They couldn't light a fire. They have no gas cookers also, and they use electric. So this idea that in our brave new world, electric everything is the way to go, I think maybe this storm will have done some good and will make people think twice about that. Then, of course, the electric cars. The electric cars, those are notable in their absence. You couldn't charge them up. As simple as that. Electric cars were a dead loss when it came to the storm. So, that's the story. The old ways, I think, are the best. And even in some of the more modern houses, and in these times, it's customarily to go at Cayley. For people who don't live in Ireland, going to Cayley means going in for an informal visit and a chat. And some of the fires were running there with a mix of coal, even the modern smokeless coal, and the sticks and the timber and it put you out of it, and you'd fall asleep at them. They were that good. Still the best thing to go. We should not vote for any party that endangers our fireplaces. Now, the other thing that this brought home to me, I had fuel enough, but I wanted petrol for the generator. And as I say, I left it a bit late, and I got up the morning after the storm on Saturday, and I went to Bailieborough, there was no fuel there, all out. I went to Kingscourt, no fuel there at all. The one up at the top of the hill wasn't back running at that stage. And says, there's one fella, that's Cassidy there on the RD road in Carrick. I'll bet you he's set up for this. So over I went. I drove the whole way over, and sure enough, it was like a town on its own. He had this big generator going out in the shed. You wouldn't barely hear it. Good, I'd say a 4-cylinder, or a good one. I'd say maybe a 10 kilowatt, maybe a 20 kilowatt, I don't know. But he had it running. He had his fridges running. He was cooking the sausages and the rashers, and they called this a deli. And all the delis in Ireland are all pork products, all fried. They're the most unhealthy food you could possibly eat. You know the song, the Jumbo Breakfast Roll. You want to look it up by what do you call him? It's not John Kenny, Pat Short. Jumbo Breakfast Roll. They call it a deli, meaning delicatessen. There's nothing deli about sausages fried, or bacon and grace on them, or black pudding or white pudding. The white pudding is the healthiest of the pork products. And the eggs, I suppose, would be fried. So they're fried and dripping as well. Oh, deli, it's called him a deli. But he had to go and fly in there, and a big crowd, and the pumps were flying, and all the pumps were going, and I got my 20 litres of petrol. I had a good can for it, and that paid for it, and that was grand. And I had me little cash, and there was fierce hullabaloo about the cards and people coming in, can I use me cards? But what I can't understand is most shops could work one card. Most shops could work one card, but not two. And also in one pub I asked the lad there, what's the story? Well, half of them are working, he says. About half of the cards will work. So cash is king, and I think we should remember not to let the cash go. They'll try to take the cash away, but it should serve as a lesson. We need a bit of cash. Why are there no €100 notes going around? I can't understand that. Why is there none of them green €100 notes? Even in the time of the punt, you'd get a £100 note. I remember selling hay one time, and a man's paying me with £100 notes, and there was fiddles on them. I remember that, and that's 35 years ago, and today you can't get a €100 note. Have I covered everything now in my video? Have I covered everything? I think I have on 12 minutes. It's a lesson. It's a lesson. It's no joke being in a house and a cold. You would not stay in a house without a fire in Ireland, or heat of some kind. You would not stay. And I believe you'll see a lot of these fancy houses putting chimneys in yet. I believe that'll happen. I can't stick the cold at all. I hate the cold. I'd like to live in the hottest climate. I was out in Oman and it had scorched. I thought it was lovely. But there you are. I'm in Ireland. Now, so there's the story, folks. Thankfully, we all got through it, and we'll see you back for something else. I'm probably leaving out something. Oh yeah, I spoke to one man, and he has 2 grandchildren, and he went visiting them on Saturday, and all that was annoying them was the mobile phone. There's no Wi-Fi. And he says, would you not go up and play outside or do something, And this is what was worrying. These be young teenagers. And Wi-Fi is everything. And I think this is very, very unhealthy situation. We're getting to the stage where if it's not on the internet, it doesn't exist. That is utter nonsense. Utter nonsense. And I see some technical videos there, and I know well that they're very superficial. The person that's making them probably never did what he's saying he proposes to do. I'd say that's the case. Anyway, the internet is here to stay. We might maybe get it better adopted. But one of the big uses and the great uses coming through is that mainstream media is finished. Nobody believes them anymore. And whatever about Trump, and let me say for a start, I wanted Trump to shake the tree. I'm sure yet I'll be eating my words. He'll do something I don't like. But he's really shook them up big time. He really shook them up big time. And when he won the election, it create an earthquake among the great and the good. They don't know how to handle it. They don't know how to handle it. And the effect of it is, coming up to the election, all the pollsters were all saying that it was neck and neck. Kamala was probably going to win. There was one fellow there claimed he had predicted American elections for 40 years. Can't think of his name. He's a white fella anyway, a Yankee, and Harris is going to win. And they all thought Harris is going to win. But the elections, Elon Musk and the Republican Party had their lawyers in every poll and count centre in the States. And in one particular place, the lady went to shut down. She says, getting tired. He says, you can go, but the place stays open or we'll bring you to a court straight away. So the proper counting of the elections was meant that Trump got in, and now nobody trusts the mainstream media. It's alternative media that's now calling the shots. Trump was on Joe Rogan for 3 hours of an interview, and he swung the whole people to his side. And Harris was on, and nobody believed her. Nobody was anyway impressed. So we're living in changing times. Definitely, we're living in changing times. Now I'll revisit some of these things again, folks. And thanks for your kind comments. I was very, very tired. We done some running around, but one of the things about it is it's healthy stuff out and running around and moving the tractor and hopping up and down and moving something out of your way. It keeps you going. It certainly keeps you active. Then you're tired and then you have a wee sleep and you're grand. I had a pint in the town last night, 1 pint of stout, and it just struck it out. It was lovely. I never had a pint that I enjoyed as well because it was slightly dehydrated. And somebody dropped me out. But anyway, it was good. It's good. The place was mad. So there'll be probably matches made on different knows what. Maybe a Christian or two after the whole thing. But yeah, it's amazing that this could happen. Some say it's 1 in an 80-year event. It's one event. It happens every 80 years. I don't know. Well, it's a very bad wind anyway. So we'll see you back and comment on the need. Bye bye. Thank you.